I'm not a DJ, so I can't see for sure. But from the outside looking in, I feel like it's kind of it's like the boring side of the job. Because I feel like
Stay by plan, Accra, stay by plan. All the boys, all the girls, for stay by plan. Stay by plan, stay by plan. All the boys, all the girls, for stay by plan. Just to stay by.
Hi guys, welcome to Stay by Plan. New year, everything is fresh and exciting, and we have a special guest on the couch with us, the one and only Jae Murphy. Hi Jay.
Hola.
You know, Zuu is very good in Spanish.
I'm not gonna play that game with him. Nah, he won already. We're not taking no L's in 24.
Exactly.
We're just gonna let the winners win.
Zuu, how are you feeling?
I'm good. You know, excited for the new year. Hopefully, we can achieve a lot, and yeah, ready to do stuff.
Yeah.
Starting with this.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Jay, have you been on a podcast before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, which podcast have you been on?
Well, I still have it. I just need to reboot it. But I had a podcast called Jae Murphy and Friends.
Okay.
So y'all make it to LA. Y'all gotta come back on my podcast. And I've done a few pilots for like a lot of other podcasts back in LA. So
Okay. Nothing new here. This is your field. Like, chill.
essentially.
I say I do this. This is what I do.
Yeah. So, I mean, we met you at the YouTube events, the YouTube Mixer, and you did some pretty awesome things last year, December 2023 in Ghana. But that's not your first time. This is not your first
The
time.
fact that you said last year, it just sounds like it's so long ago.
It's like last week.
It's definitely
I
like
don't know when Benzu is going to bring this episode out, so I need to act like last year.
last
But
year.
yeah.
No, you're right though. You're right. It just sounds crazy.
Yeah. So you've been to Ghana before, right?
Yes.
What has been bringing you to Ghana?
Daddy December. We being honest. Yeah, in Daddy December.
Yeah.
It's more so a lot of people have said so many wonderful things about this country. I have a lot of Ghanaian friends, more than I actually realized by the time like I actually get out here. And having the opportunity to spend the holidays in Ghana is something that I never knew I actually needed, you know. So I'm actually encouraging the rest of my family to come here this year, December 2024. So that would be cool. But yeah, just it's such an untapped gem that a lot of people don't know about.
Right.
How'd you end up here the first time?
How did I end up getting what?
How'd you end up here the first time?
Oh, the first time? Well, the first time I wanted to see Afrochella. I wanted to experience it. You know, I live for concerts and music festivals, and my guys that run the PVO Collective out of New York, they did the New Year's Eve party, and Everyday People had a party at Bloom Bar, and Jerk and Jollof had a party, and Afro Lituation had a party. So a lot of these collectives, I'm in constant motion with these guys back in the States.
Okay.
So the first time that I came to Accra, we were all here. It just made sense for me to be a part of all of their activations. And so I got to see Afrochella at the time for the first time. And last year, I had to... Last year, I had the opportunity to perform at Afro Future. So, you know, I think it's been a building block kind of experience every time that I've been able to come to Ghana. So we'll see what happens in 24.
Yeah, this year. But yeah, I want to talk briefly about your performance at Afro Future.
Yeah.
Like, you're very chill, laid back. So like when I saw you on stage and this guy was on 10, like the energy was crazy. I was like,
Let me
"Whoa."
tell him, I snitched you. Like, me and him had lunch, and I snitched you that before he was on stage, you were like, look, your friend is on stage. And then like a few minutes later, you were like, yo, Like your friend is actually like actually killing it.
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, like, where did that come from? Or is that how you are every time you play?
I would hope so.
But for context, guys, like I feel like we haven't told you who Jae Murphy is. Jae Murphy is like an amazing DJ. He is a legend. He has been DJing for Jason Derulo,
The ruler.
The
Chris
ruler.
Breezy. Who
Yeah.
else have you been
I've
DJing
worked
for?
with so many people.
Like he's kind of a
Yeah.
big deal, guys. Like he's an artist DJ and an independence DJ and just an amazing person. So yeah, he was DJing at Afro Future as Zoo mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back to that. Yeah, so Zoo was asking about the personality change. The Sasha
The
Fierce.
personality
The
change.
Sasha Fierce on stage.
Okay. I'll address the alter ego personality change. The superhero unveiling.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of energy, a lot of creative passion to perform and amplify your performance in front of a crowd of strangers.
Yeah.
You know, and no, in the time that we did speak prior to the performance, I'm on like reserve mode.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm just trying to charge up and absorb the energy from the crowd, from just the people, from the ground, you know, from the country. And yeah, I hate to sound so cliche when I say this, but being that me operating in my gift is coming from a spiritual place. And what you experience is something that I'm experiencing it too, you know, just from a different lens. And so that extra edgy energy that's like in your face, explosive, yeah, that's from within. I can fake it. I couldn't, you know, and that's another thing from having the experience of touring for so many years. I've done that tired. I've done that exhausted. I've done it, you know, carrying my own personal life problems. And, you know, as a creative, you know, being on stage is definitely a liberating feeling, you know, and it's definitely, you know, a platform to express. And once again, like I said, operating your gift. So what y'all saw is what I experienced too. And every experience isn't the same. Every time is different.
Where's the fun in being like everybody else?
Embrace who you are and what you love. Embrace your cool.
Grab an ice cold, refreshing club shandy as you live, define, and breathe your cool.
Celebrate your authenticity with Shandy's rich flavor, zesty lemon refreshing taste, and low alcohol content.
Enjoy a cold shandy with all your friends. Have it with a delicious meal or just relax and enjoy it.
Embrace your cool with Shandy however you want. Shandy. Boswe.
Remember, Shandy is for persons older than 18 and not recommended for pregnant women.
You can find Shandy in your local pubs and your neighborhood stores all across Ghana.
And for bulk purchases,
Please contact Accra Brewery Limited on 0800 433 433 to get your Shandy today.
and then how about like playing in, obviously you end up playing in different countries that have different music, and when you're on stage for Afro Future, you did play Ghanaian music. So do you have to research in advance, like for every single country, before you go and ensure that like you have the right music?
Yeah, I'm gonna give a gem to all like aspiring DJs, current DJs, seasoned DJs. There's really no excuse for any DJ to not have access to what's current, what's classic, and what's new in any city, country, or continent. Like it's all there. You can go to any streaming platform and find playlists,
Yeah.
essentials, you know, just things that you would need to do as far as market research. I think market research is important, and it's actually a tool to keep your performance diverse, you know, and just so that, you know, once again, you're also paying homage to the experience that you're giving to people, especially if that's not your native land. I think there's a order of respect that has to be, you know, given as a performer and being a stranger in a you know, a foreign land. So I think all DJs should definitely, and naturally we do. We don't want to be playing, you know, straight studs. It's not hitting. It's just flat. You know, like I think every DJ naturally wants to know what direction they're going, in addition to what they want to do creatively. So
Okay. So how did you even get into this whole DJing thing in the first place? Like, were you doing like a regular 9 to 5 and like, you know what? No, I'm supposed to be a DJ.
I started as a host. I
Okay.
started as an MC during my undergrad years at Howard University. That's literally really where I found my passion for entertainment. And so after I after I pledged in my fraternity, a few of my line brothers encouraged me to learn how to DJ, and I didn't want to. You know, I was cool with, you know, being a man with the mic and yeah, like so when I say I was hosting like all student body activities,
Right.
you know, on campus, step shows, dance competitions, parties,
Right.
homecoming, like a lot of cool stuff. And I knew, and I was, of course, I was cool with the DJs on campus, but I knew that DJing requires so much more.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, I found my way learning how to DJ,
Right.
and it was actually a very easy transition for me. You know, I found myself when I was hosting at times telling the DJ what to play because
Right.
there's direction that I wanted to take this crowd or do this, and
Right.
so over time I've explained and I've told people that not only am I performing as a DJ, but I'm also manipulating energy.
Yeah.
Learning how to manipulate energy in a room is the key to any performance, whether you DJ, whether you play the sax, whether you're a comedian, like whatever it is, as a performer, there is a hidden science to learning how to manipulate energy in the room. And once you have control of the energy in the room, it's really your show, hands down.
Yeah, and even to add to that, I was thinking about this earlier today. I feel like for the average event, the DJ is probably the most important part of the event because you got your lights could maybe your lights are not working or like your screens are not working on the stage or something.
Yeah.
But the music, if the music is good,
Mm.
people will leave with a good experience. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like you guys have the biggest responsibility when it comes to events. And you can tell when you go to an event and the DJ is not clicking with the crowd,
Yeah.
he can't tell what to play, when to play, he's changing the songs too early or too late. It just ruins the whole experience.
Mhm.
You know, so for me I have massive respect for DJs and DJs who are able to deliver back to back every event and it's like they have a reputation like, you know what, when this DJ is there, he's gonna kill it. Yeah. So people like that, I mean, I've only seen you play once, but I can tell that.
That was very impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really good set. Yeah. That was
You know, for DJs, I don't think people realize this, but depending on what room or what stage you're doing, for me, every time I DJ, it's a social experiment. You know, for me, I can speak for me. None of my sets are ever the same. I may have similar sequences of one song going to the next, but I literally play for energy. I don't play like, okay, I'm gonna start with this. Now, there are situations where I will program music to go with graphics on the screen and visuals and stuff like that. Or I have an intro or I have a break or a party break that but you know, as far as Afro Future is concerned, I had entirely different direction that I kind of premeditated on the side of the stage prior to me performing. And by the time I hooked up my laptop, it was scrapped.
Yeah.
It was literally scrapped because I had the moment to understand the energy that was present at that time. And I was like, okay, so this is where this is. If I can captivate them at this point, then I can just ride. I can coast for my 30-minute set. So yeah, so it's a social experiment for sure.
I think that's really important because you also have to understand the people you're playing for.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, like you said, every time is different. So now you're in a different country. People are at the festival, they've been walking around for hours. They're
Yeah.
kind of tired.
Yeah.
You need to like wake them up. So when you came with the energy, like after your set, I feel like everybody was
Ready.
like
Okay.
ready for the show.
Okay. Yeah.
So I found like I was very impressed. I was very impressed because you took it at the end, took it to church. I was like, bro, this guy.
I had no
guy-
intention of playing gospel music. I don't know what it was. Like I really had no intention. But mid-set, I realized that there are things that I can do that nobody else at that festival can do. And granted, I'm in Ghana and I wanted to really go crazy on Afro beats and piano. I had to lean towards the showmanship that I know that I'm most known for, but I'm most known for via versatility, not because I'm a Black American, but more so, that's just like playing in basketball, like learning your opponent's weakness. If they can't guard you strong on the right side, you're gonna go left. So just knowing what works and what's gonna, but not what's just gonna work, but what's gonna hit and what's gonna be the most impactful. Those are the type of thoughts that I have. While y'all singing y'all heart out, I'm like, all right, where am I going? What's next? Okay, I could do this. Nah, I don't want to do that. But if I do that, then I do that. That might go. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Boom.
Right.
Literally, like and that's throughout the entire performance. In between me speaking on the mic, I'm literally playing chess in my head with what I want to do next. To manipulate energy.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, we know that you are from a Christian home. Your dad is a pastor.
Yeah.
He's been in the ministry for years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think your sounded very Ghanaian. But yeah, I think I have two questions. The first one is, what's the vibe at home? Is everybody like, oh yeah, Jae Murphy the DJ, or oh Jae Murphy the DJ, you should be in church singing with us? That's the first question. And then the second one is, do you feel like that has sort of impacted the direction of how like your sets go? Because Ghana isn't the first place you've played like gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are two questions.
Okay, to answer the first question, I'm fully embraced within my family. I'm fully embraced with everything that I've done, everything that I'm still doing. I think I have the greatest parents in the world when it comes to just any and everything that I wanted to do. They kind of allowed me to do it. I wasn't a troubled kid or anything like that. Like, I was one of the kids that was very, very social, very, very active. And, I brought home good grades. So by the time it was time for me to go to college, and then when that ended, it was just like, yo, like this is the life that you've prepared for yourself. And if this is where your heart is telling you to go, we support anything you do. And as far as me being deeply engulfed in the industry, the first thing is, as far as my family is concerned, I've never put myself in a position to bring shame to my family name. Right. I'm aware of who I am, and I know who my parents are. So, and I know what my last name is probably. So, uh, yeah, like I don't ever um want to jeopardize that holy grail, that legacy of where I come from. And then also just on a further outlook and a scope of being in the industry, from a spiritual perspective, you know, I feel like I have purpose by being able to shine my light even in dark places. You know, I've been told that I'm a light to so many people and to so many youthful generations after me. And so with that being said, I think it's just important that I carry that pillar of faith with me anytime I'm on stage. But being in the industry is definitely tough. It's not easy. It's easy to make it look easy. But it's times where I understand the calamity that it brings in people's lives. Like I don't condone it, but I can see why people lose their mind. I can see why people result into abusing substances in their body that they shouldn't. You know, I see why. I understand why people may, you know, result in having thoughts of suicide. Like it's so much pressure being put on us every day as entrepreneurs, as entrepreneurial creatives, and I just I'm thankful for the path that's been given to me, you know, and I think I say all that to say I think that there's great purpose in what I'm doing, and it's bigger than what I think I'm doing. You know, so much more to what I'm doing that I'm still learning about myself. The second question, what was it?
The gospel that you play on stage. Are you
Oh,
trying to convert us?
I mean, it's not my job to force my faith or beliefs and make you guys and make you guys, you know, just ingest it like that. But you know, I think a part of me, a part of my brand is that I'm gonna take God everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Clearly, because He got me there in the first place.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that there is such a beautiful. You know, one thing I love about all Black culture, not just American Black culture, it's just a beautiful spectrum of appreciation for so many different types of music.
Yeah.
Like while being in Ghana, I've heard R&B classics, I've heard old school classics, I've heard New Jack Swing, I've heard dancehall, I've heard reggae, I've heard bashment, soca, I've heard, you know what I'm saying? And so when it comes to playing gospel, even if your family didn't go to church every Sunday, or if your family just went to church on Easter, you know, or like, you know, just or if you had that one aunt that always was saying she was praying for you, or your grandmother, when you play that gospel music, you know the song.
You know the song.
It's almost a cheat code. You know, it's almost a cheat code, but it's not a cheat code because you know the song.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that everybody can attest to.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point about Black cultures around the world and them appreciating different types of music because, like for Afro Future, for example, you have people from across the world, but regardless of the genre of music that's playing, everybody can kind of relate to what's going on with the music.
Yeah.
And it's just a really beautiful experience to watch.
It's so beautiful, man. Y'all have no idea
It's so cool.
through the lens of just people that are not from here and just the conversation I've had. Everybody's experience here has just been so peaceful. It's been so festive and fun, and it's just like it's like I said, Ghana is such a untapped gem for so many people, and so many people back in America, like, oh my God, why didn't I come?
Yeah.
The FOMO is so bad. It's like it's to the point where people are muting people's stories. Like, you know, like I'll holler at you when you get back. Don't talk to me. You know.
Yeah.
But like, what's your favorite thing about the country, about Ghana?
You know, Ghana reminds me personally a lot of Jamaica.
Oh wow.
I hear that a lot.
It's a calm, but powerful presence of energy surrounding this country. And also the pulse here, the musical pulse here is very, very, very vibrant and very strong. And it just gives just homie vibes. It's just, you know, the country kind of hugs you once you get in here.
Yeah.
That's why people don't want to leave or don't
Yeah.
know when they're gonna leave. I.e. me. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow,
Maybe
in 2
not.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, Ghana is the gym for sure.
I hear the Jamaica comparison a lot, like so much. And to me, it makes sense. I feel like we have very similar cultures. Even the food is similar. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And technically, they are people. So
Yeah, and I learned that. So okay, my first experience, my first time in Ghana, I just was like, yo, this just feels like Jamaica. Like, am I Jamaica or am I on the west coast of Africa? Like, where am I? And then at Afrochella,
what year is this though?
this is last year.
Oh, last year. Okay.
Well, nah, this is 2 years ago.
2022.
22. Yo, I heard so many Ghanaian songs, and I learned a lot of Ghanaian Afro beats are rhythm based,
Yeah.
heavily rhythm based, and that's from a DJ's ear. And so I was just like, yo, all right, now y'all playing tricks on me. Like, am I in Jamaica or am I in Ghana? And then I learned the connection between Ghana and Jamaica historically. As far as just, you know, the presence of Ghana being put into the islands, mainly Jamaica. And then it all made sense. It all clicked. And that's something I will only learn by actually coming here. I'm not gonna learn that in class.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna learn that in school. Like, I'm not gonna learn that anywhere. That is a real fact that I learned and saw and experienced by physically being here. So that's something I definitely appreciate a lot.
So I want to go back to the whole DJing for artists.
Mhm.
What's the experience like? Is there like a different vibe for everybody? Has it been like working with all these multiple people? Yeah, basically that.
You know, on the surface, it looks so cool and glamorous and like, oh my God, you just doing it big, ain't you?
Yeah.
In full transparency, I don't think people really understand that is like the peak of you actually doing your job. When I say the peak of doing your job, you know how you have projects with various employers, or how people have projects and then they have to do a big presentation in front of this department and your job is on the line based off that's my presentation when I'm in these rooms with these legendary artists, or when I'm on the road with these legendary artists. That is the time where you are most vulnerable and you have to choose to be humble. You know, I think a lot of people have issues being humble because humility comes in so many forms, but you got to be humble enough to want to learn. Like, you got to be constructive criticism should be your cheat sheet.
Yeah.
That should be your blueprint. instead of taking things personal. But like when you're in that zone or when you're in that room or when you're on that stage, it's so imperative that you position yourself to make sure that that artist is um, having a climatic pinnacle for that show or for that performance or for that moment for their birthday. Like you gotta make it your own in everything you can physically and possibly do. And it's so many things that's going on behind the scenes when you're in those positions. And when I say so many things that's going on, something could be messing up with the sound. The mixer could be off. The mic could have bad feedback. So if the artist wanted to get on the mic and then it sounds crazy, they're gonna look at you like it's your fault and it's not your fault. Like the worst and the best can happen. You gotta really prepare for the worst and expect the best in every single situation. I've been through every situation possible. So the first thing that you can never do is panic. You can't.
Yeah, so for me, like when I watch DJs working with artists on stage,
Yeah.
I'm not a DJ, so I can't see for sure. But from the outside looking in, I feel like it's kind of a boring. It's like the boring side of the job. Because I feel like the artist has planned out their set list, and so you know what you're gonna play before. So like what you were speaking about earlier about reading the crowd energy. You can't really
I
change
was about to ask, like,
the
are you
lineup and everything. You also have to read the energy of the artist. Sometimes know when to change the song. Like you have to be quick. Exactly. And I feel like it's just not. You're not. You are using your creativity, but not in the same
you're
way.
being limited, not kind of limited, but you still have to follow the artist because
Exactly.
you are just like supporting them.
Yeah,
You're not necessarily
exactly.
the talent that time.
And
You're
then
like a supporting
sometimes the
talent.
artists they depend on you.
Yeah.
Sometimes they look to you for reassurance in that moment. Is this the song I should go with? They really don't know. Their artists are so in their head, and we are too. I think that's the beautiful thing about creativity, being able to collaborate in a quick moment
Yeah.
and make it happen.
So I have a question. Are there times where it's like, okay, I want to sing song A and then B and then C, and then when you're on stage, you and the artist just look at each other and you know that we have to swap this thing right now.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. You got that really comes from reading the energy. And then if and when the artist is excited to go a different direction, like they really you support that.
Yeah.
You support that and you over affirm that. You overemphasize that and just allow them to design that moment with your support. I think it's just important to really understand the energy of your artist, and when they exude confidence, that makes you overconfident. Like there's like even if y'all wing something and internally y'all messed up, the crowd doesn't know y'all messed up.
Yeah.
And then but that opens up an opportunity to fine tune that new thing that y'all just didn't experiment with live. But nobody knows. Like people always think that this is the show, like, and it is. We just did a remix.
So what was like one of your highlights of the Chris Brown tour last year?
Big shout out to Chris Brown. It's a very good friend of mine. I think for me personally, also being from Virginia, like Chris, it was just so beautiful to see his legacy just heavily accepted and manifested outside of America. Out of the conversations I've had with him or around him, it's been such a journey for him to be where he still is, and for him to have a sold out 27 date arena tour in Europe for the first time. I think it was like first time in 10 or 11 years. Like that just says a lot about the artist he is and the time and the dedication and the commitment to um, his contribution to not just our generation but multiple generations. I saw generations above me, my generation, and below me in Europe.
Yeah.
Like it's really he's really like a time capsule.
Yeah.
Like despite whatever the media has portrayed, painted, or whatever narrative has been exploited via people's opinions of his past, whatever, you know, you can never deny Chris Brown. Ever. And that's something I stand on because I had the opportunity to work with him, work for him, and be a part of one of his biggest tours to date. And I think just me being a part of that tour alone was a full circle moment for me because we're both from Virginia. So if that's the first and most foremost thing that was the highlight, just me being billed on a international tour with Chris Brown, like what? Like I'm still having moments of looking. Literally, somebody posted something on their story about that tour last night, and I think it was just recapping 23, and just to be a part of that moment, I think it's so mind blowing to know that I did that. It's a memory. It's something that's on the resume, but also being able and to be honest, I had the opportunity to be on that tour because I knew how to work those rooms from previous tours in Europe. They had it's a million DJs they could have used for that tour. It's phenomenal. Like, not saying like I'm the only lit DJ they could find. Like, no, I'm not saying that at all. But there's this global aura that I maintain and sustain with my brand. And, planting seeds, it's like when you plant seeds, you really don't know how fast and how strong that tree is gonna grow. And when you have opportunities that come back to you from planting seeds, you're just mind blown. You're mind blown. So I really am humbled and I learned so much because being put in that type of arena with that type of artist, every artist has their own aesthetic, their own, things gotta be sharp. And just it's always, that's why I say a lot of people they're not humble enough to want to continue to learn. Once they feel like they've mastered something, then they get comfortable. And I think that's illiterate. It's just wrong. Like, nah, there's so much more. Even to this day, like even for me being out here for the past week and some change, I came out here to learn. I came out here to hear more music that I don't play. I came out here to connect with other DJs and to be a vessel to the community of DJs, just so I can learn more and they can learn from me as well. But yeah, the Chris Brown tour is something that, it may come back around. I ain't gonna say nothing. I know some things that I know. So we'll see what 24 holds, but Love
that.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess on that note, yeah.
What are your plans for the coming year? What's the Jae Murphy show? What are your plans for the coming year?
Oh man, the Jae Murphy show, such a beautiful, great show. Well, I'm celebrating my birthday this month, in January 24th. My birthday is the 15th. I'll be doing a very big party in Los Angeles and a very big party in New York. I wanted to take some time to myself and actually go on a trip and not work. But at the top of the year, it gets real tricky with my birthday, Grammys, Super Bowl, All-Star. Those are all electrifying weekends that I'm usually a part of in some capacity. And so I may not actually have a real break until, closer to the end of February. But this is an every year kind of thing. From the holidays, you kind of hit the ground running, and then spring, going into the spring, you kind of can just like kind of calm down and really like lock in. So I'll be releasing some more music this year as well. Yeah, that tour thing I was just talking about, we gonna see. We gonna see. Hopefully I'll have the opportunity to be a part of the BET Awards again. Third time is a charm, so we going for the three-peat this June to open up the show, and I do any other activities they may have for me over there, the good folks at BET. And yeah, we'll see. This year is it's the Kobe year. It's definitely 2024, so I'm looking forward to learning. Like, I'm real big on learning. I'm looking forward to learning and sharpening what it is that God gave me, so I can achieve everything at the highest level.
Nice.
Okay, so thank you so much for joining us. We usually ask 2 questions before we wrap up. What song have you been feeling this week, and who do you want to hear on our podcast?
What song have I been feeling this week? That's a hard one. I'm listening to mad music.
Can imagine, yeah.
Okay, let me narrow it down to one.
There's one song. It's a Davido song
Okay.
that every time I hear the beat, I just be like, oh, Kante, feeling the pressure. I love Kante. Yo. I heard it. I don't think I heard it last night, but I heard it 2 nights ago. And when I heard it, I was just like, y'all gotta just play the whole thing. I really like that song. What was the second question?
What would you like to hear on our podcast?
My brother Asante.
Okay.
My brother Asante is a phenomenal entrepreneur, and he created the collective Jerk and Jollof. And that is a massive brand, global brand, not just in the States, but it started in the States, in Detroit. Shout out to Vito and DJ Blackito as well. I'm essentially a resident DJ for Jerk and Jollof activations. They had one out here at Bloom Bar during the holidays out here. And they got a lot of motion. And Asante is Ghanaian.
Okay.
So big shout out to Asante. Hopefully we can connect the dots and make that work.
Okay.
Nice. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us.
And
First conversation of 2024. So.
Yes, this is my first interview of the new year.
Yeah.
I think we should run it back next year.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. After the BET Awards and your new tours and everything.
Yeah. We're gonna have a lot to talk about for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, guys. Thank you for watching as well. And
make sure you follow Jae Murphy everywhere.
Yes.
And see you guys later. And stay by plan.
Bye. This episode of Stay by Plan was hosted by Afi and Zuu. Production by Afi, Senna, and Nikita. Episode was edited and produced by Zuu. Designed by Senna. Photography and videos by Ellis Etonam and Now. Motion graphics by Eugene, and the intro song is by Lil Kwaw.